Good evening and welcome to the Newton Board of Selectmen meeting. Today is Tuesday, March 18th, 2025. The time is 6 o'clock and I would like you to please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Since this is the first board meeting after the vote, we need to have what is happening?
It's just a little bit of audio feedback. I believe these are new mics. Just check it out.
All right, Bob. Yeah. Click the mouse.
Get the mouse operating.
Are we having a volume problem?
Yeah, a little bit.
Do you think that's it? We'll try that.
That's okay, don't worry about it. I was just trying to figure out why I could keep hearing myself. You gotta go, Chief? Okay. No worries.
For the record, I'm out of.
Yeah, was it that computer that was picking up the mic, maybe? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we have to have our reorganization meeting, so technically right now I am not the chair. So the way this works is we will ask for nominations for chair. I'll ask twice, and then we'll move forward from there, and we'll go from there. So, do I hear any nominations for chair?
I would like to make a nomination that Bob Marchand step up and be chairman of the board for the next 12 months.
Second that?
Okay, so that's a nomination for Bob. Are there any other nominations tonight? I'll ask one more time. Is there any other nominations tonight? Okay. I'll do a roll call vote. Bob?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. That's unanimous. Bob Marchand is the new chair. I'll turn it over to you, Bob. You're going to elect a vice chair, sir.
Thank you, gentlemen. And I would like to nominate Joe Simone as vice chair.
I'll second that. Bob, did you forget that you're chair now and you need to run the meeting?
What's that?
You got to call for
roll
the
call.
votes.
You're still running the show.
Okay. Hearing Joe Simone as vice chair, are there any other nominations for vice chair? Hearing none, take a roll call vote. Bob?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. That is unanimous. Joe is the vice chair.
Congratulations, Joe.
Congratulations, Bob.
Congratulations, Joe.
Thank you.
I think because I put the agenda together, you want me to just...
Yep.
Okay.
Well, Mr. Guide is going to continue to run this meeting tonight.
All right. With that being said, next up is citizens input. Do we have anybody on Zoom? I'm not seeing any. And Mary, you good? You're just here for your library vote, or did you want to talk? Okay. With that being done, next up, there's a couple things to hit on. Greenie Park. I actually have Tricia here that wants to talk about some of the stuff that's going on at Greenie Park.
So for those millions of you that are watching TV, Brady Park, as you know, is being worked on right now. We started the Art Committee American Recovery Plan Act. We started working on this parking lot August 30th of 2022. Again, October 3rd, November 7th, all of 2022, and then most of 2023. The plan is to expand the parking lot. We'll be putting in silt fences. The crew that's working down there now, and I think they're almost done, the plan was they had to go in according to the engineer about 30 feet from East Street, and then they're gonna go 100 feet back and 125 feet down. So it should increase the parking lot quite a bit, which is gonna make it easier for all our activities down there. I think that's all for Brady Park.
I will say it is making room for the skate park too when it gets to that point. I just don't want to leave that out and let everybody know we did not forget about it, like that was part of the plan.
One
Is
step at a time.
Exactly.
Work with engineers
Yeah, this
and
is-
then
this is-
money, which
this-
starts-
This is phase one.
I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that that wasn't getting pushed aside.
Are they gonna, put like crushed stone or something down for now?
Right now, I think it's just all stumps.
If I may, I would like to thank Mr. Pravero, our road agent, on that also, because he, the company that was doing the clear cutting for the farm that's going to be taking place on Whittier, he was able to get them at a very reduced rate, which is the reason why we were able to get that clear cutting done. So kudos to Mr. Pravero.
Thanks, Mike, if you're listening.
So right now, it's all stumps. Mike, when he has time, is gonna get over there and start pulling them up, and then we'll do the
So it may not
crushed
be
stone.
parking this year.
It may not be parking this year. It depends on the timeline.
Maybe
It's a-
we'll rope it off so kids don't
Phase
four wheel
one.
in it.
Yeah, well, the silt fence will help, so. With,
Dan,
yes, Mike?
when are they gonna move that equipment and the trees out of the parking lot?
I think they started moving it today.
They started moving stuff out today. Mike, when I talked to Mike this afternoon, he said that they had finished up there. So they'll be moving all their equipment out within the next 2 days.
Okay, I just know that, the baseball, softball stuff is starting up that.
Yep,
Yeah, they were moving they were moving one of the pieces today when I was there.
that's good. Oh my goodness. Hey Ted, you might need to turn me down a bit.
I think we need an audio adjustment.
Next up is the fire chief.
Put it anywhere you want, don't worry about it, chief. You're good.
You're good.
Can't see you anyway. Can't see you anyway.
Yeah.
You're all good.
On behalf of the fire department, thank you for allowing me to go in front of you this evening. We have 3 things on the agenda. If the board wants to address the requisition first for the 1 set of gear, we can do that. And then I'll go into the monthly and then
Sure.
Okay, so with that said, I move to approve requisition 1093 FD in the amount of $3,745 to be expended for the fire department, line number 4220309. Payment is to Firematic for uniforms/gear.
Second.
Motion made by Joe S., seconded by Joe A. All those in favor? Aye. That's unanimous.
Call them on the,
Ah, that's right, Mike's there. Bob?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Mike?
aye.
And I'm an aye. That's unanimous.
Joe, can you just, Chairman, Simone, can you just speak up a little, because there's a little bit of a problem.
Sure. That better?
I'll get him to speak up. All right, that one's good.
next we'll do the February monthly. I'll just run it down quick. Total calls were 47. Calls for service, I'll just touch on a couple of the highlights. February 3rd, the town received auto aid for CO alarm activation on the 8th and 16th. The station was staffed extra for both snowstorms.
Thank you.
Thank you. On February 18th, the department hosted a joint drill with Kingston and East Kingston Fire. On February 20th, the new ambulance was requested to the town of Kingston for a medical. On the February 20th, Plastow Fire was requested for assistance for a propane leak at one of our local schools. On February 25th, Engine 2 was requested by the town of East Kingston. On February 27th, Auto Aid was requested for a fire alarm activation. On February 27th also, Engine 2 was requested to the town of Kingston for a fire alarm. On December 31st, the department was dispatched to the railroad tracks on New Boston Road for a train versus a golf cart. Okay? The ambulance The new ambulance did its first transport last month. Also, just quick, the department is continuing to do its joint fire and EMS training with our surrounding mutual partners. And lastly, I plan on filling vacancies in our command staff since the department has now transitioned from 100% paid on call to a combination department, having 24-hour staff. With that, I have already appointed 2 line captains. One of our line captains is here this evening, Sean Kane. I also filled one of the acting lieutenant positions that was filled by Patrick Casey, which is also in the back. I will be working on appointing a couple more, and I'm also planning on filling the vacant deputy chief's position that Deputy Sir Royce held. It's still an open position, and I cannot appoint myself to that position. So that's the game plan. I will have names to the board for the next meeting, and those candidates will be in front of the board for its next meeting. That way the board can meet. And I will also try to get the other captain that was appointed, Peter Janalunas, to the next meeting so the board can meet. I believe the board met Captain Janalunas the day of the election.
Right.
Okay? Just touching, because when I wrote that, we didn't have the warrant, as the board knows and everybody knows, the town budget failed. Last year, the town approved 24-hour coverage. This year was the budget for the 24-hour coverage. It failed. I'm just letting the board know and everybody in TV land that I will not be backfill. I don't have the budget to backfill the station, do callbacks. When the truck goes out of town for mutual aid, we just don't have the budget. If I do that or fill any empty vacancies, my budget will be done in about 4 months, 5 months, trying to cover 24-hour staff. Okay, so I just want everybody to know, I know the board said it and I said it, the deputy said it, the game plan was to have coverage 24/7, 365, the budget failed. I can't do it. I'll run quick with the 24/7s. So I'm having a staff meeting next week to let the members know of that. Also, unless it's an essential, we won't be purchasing. That'll probably be the last purchase order you'll see, unless something breaks. The board knows our budget. It's public record.
Yep.
And anybody that wants to watch a video, I believe it was January 15th, 2024, I stood at this podium saying what the cost was to run 24/7. Just for 24/7, not to maintain the fire department, what the cost was.
And we don't have Trinity anymore.
No. No. None of the there was 5 communities left. None of the communities have Trinity left.
None.
And I actually reached out, because one of the things that was brought up was for Newton, when we have a structure fire, Trinity was our ambulance. Well, now Newton is the ambulance. Our mutual aid partners that come in are bringing fire engines and ladder trucks. So I reached out to Trinity to see if they'd be interested in going onto our run card if we had a structure fire, if they could send us the truck from Haverhill. They refused.
Nice.
So for a structure fire, we've worked with our mutual aid partner of Atkinson. They'll send us our ambulance, because our front line is surrounding us right now around town with an engine. So just want to make that clear, so if somebody calls and they see our mutual aid ambulance is Amesbury first, and if they're unavailable, it's Blastow. So if they see one of those two, and then Kingston. So if they see a non-Newton ambulance, everybody knows why. If they see a non-Newton fire truck, everybody knows why. Just want to put that out,
Appreciate it.
okay? Next,
Well, you're not alone, chief, anyways, because you know that Danville's budget failed. Sandown's budget failed.
Hampstead budget.
Hampstead's
The difference
budget
is
failed.
Hampstead had $1.1 million grant to staff.
Okay.
And Danville does not staff 24/7? I'm sorry, yeah, correct. Danville does not staff 24/7, and Sandown hired Hampstead to be their backup ambulance.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's gonna work out because their budget failed.
Yeah.
How did Hampstead get a grant?
They did a FEMA grant. The town did its FEMA grant for the EMS equipment. They did it for personnel. The big difference between them is that grant is 3 years. At the end of 3 years, the town has to take
Custody
that
of the
amount.
nation.
And if they don't take that amount, then whoever you hired, in my career, when you lose that FEMA grant, you lose firefighters.
Right.
And yes, Newton did think about it for full-time staff, but we don't. We had a hard time getting a grant match for our EMS equipment. To try to hit a $1 million grant, that grant match wouldn't happen. And then the town to try to take that bill on year 4,
That's a tough nut to crack.
Yeah.
okay. So with that, we'll go into the new hires. Both candidates, both individuals, let me say that, are here. Both of them are career firefighters. Both of them have been vetted by members of the department. The first one, let me change, would be Aaron Judson. Aaron is a firefighter advanced, EMT advanced. We're respectfully asking for the board to hire Aaron. And the second gentleman is Joshua Weber. Joshua is coming to us as a firefighter paramedic. So they'll give us another medic on staff.
So with that said, I move to hire firefighter EMT advanced Aaron Judson at the rate of $22.50 per hour, pending he meets all requirements set forth by the fire chief.
Second.
Motion made by Joe S., seconded by Joe A. Bob?
Aye.
Joe.
Aye.
Joe.
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. That's unanimous.
And moving on, I move to hire firefighter medic Joshua Weber at the rate of $25 per hour, pending he meets all the requirements set forth by the fire chief.
Second.
Motion made by Joe, seconded by Joe. Bob?
Aye.
Joe. Joe. Mike?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. That's unanimous.
Thank you. Both.
Welcome to the club.
Got you. Everybody's here. If the board has nothing else, I thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great evening.
Gentlemen,
You
too.
as
We
well.
appreciate it.
Have a good evening.
Nice and easy. You guys are good to go. You're welcome. Police department update is not going to happen tonight. That'll be on the next time we meet. We did that. We did that. Gale Library, release of the funds, 2025, and appointment of trustees.
I move to release monies in the amount of $35,800 to the library trustees for some of the library operating expenses.
Second.
I didn't hear you if you
door
did.
slammed.
Oh, okay. Motion made by Joe, seconded by Joe. All those in favor?
Aye.
Sorry, forget
Roll
that.
Mike's on.
Bob?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Joe? Mike?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. That's unanimous.
The
Yeah, go ahead.
appointment of trustees, I move to reappoint Ann Banks as library trustee alternate for the 2025-2026 period.
Second.
Motion made by Joe, seconded by Joe. Bob?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Joe? Mike?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. That's unanimous.
And moving along, I move to reappoint Lynn Camp as a library trustee alternate for the 2025-2026 period.
Second.
Motion made by Joe, seconded by Joe. Bob?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. That is unanimous. Mary, you guys good to go with your budget that you got handed? I guess if you could come up to the mic, are you guys going to face anything that you're not going to be able to handle?
Well, it's a little early to
I know.
determined that. Our biggest increase was for library cards, and we're in the process of finding a way to, we have to buy them because we're out. So, and we have to buy 500 of them, so. We did get a generous donation from a patron, and, which will cover part of it, and then we will,
What's the cost, Mary?
it's, I think it's about $900, if I remember right.
Okay. And how much was the donation?
It was 5.
Okay.
So, you know, we just won't be able to buy so many books, which is where most of our budget goes,
Yes,
to
okay.
buying books.
Email me that quote for the library cards.
Okay, I'll have Michelle.
Yeah,
send
have
that to
Michelle email it to me. And
Okay.
I'll see if we can do something.
I'll give you something, email it to me too.
you. Okay. Thank you.
All right? Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next. So we're going to briefly talk about the warrant articles real quick. Everybody knows the budget failed. Not everybody knows, but let's just be clear. The budget failed. We're in a default budget, which means it's going to be tight for us for some things. Going forward, I don't know how we're going to address some of these things right now because it's very early. Come July, we might have a better grasp on what we're going to do. There are some things that we can do to try to decrease some of the line items that we have. We're not sure what it's going to look like yet, and I don't think we want to make any assumptions on what's going to happen until that time comes. So I think we should revisit the budget in July and decide if we have to make some decisions then or not, because I think that's going to be the best time. Bob, you got reelected handedly. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
I know the opposition was tough, but you somehow pulled it out. So that's done. I'm not talking about zoning, Bob can. The land purchase for the town, that failed, which is pretty sad because it would have been nice to be able to have somewhere where we had a plot of land that was big enough for us to build a new town hall, a library, have a town green and everything like that. It's up in the air. We'll see where it's going to go. I have to talk to the landowner. I have not spoken to him yet. I planned on doing that. And then who knows, it might be on there next year. I don't know yet. Everything's up in the air. Luckily, all the articles that we needed to pass for straightening out all the accounts for the ambulance and the fire revolving funds, all that is all straightened out. The paving line, the extra money for paving did not pass. That's kind of a bummer because that would have helped us out a lot. Contingency fund passed, which my guess is we might need it this year. I'm not positive, but we might need it this year. Hazardous waste day, that passed. I gotta get in, actually, I'll have Bob talk to the transfer station and figure out when they wanna do it. Cause I don't know when they normally have it. Is it in like the middle of summer? Is it towards the end of, in the fall?
Probably more towards the fall.
Okay. I guess the sooner we nail down a date, the better.
Yeah.
And we can tell everybody, like,
Yeah,
way
we'll
ahead of time.
get it out
You know what I
there ahead of
mean?
time.
Just, yeah. I think that would be good. The Lake Coast program, that one passed. Again, it passes every year. The citizens petition for the conservation land, that passed. I don't really want to get into the school ones. I'm good with that. Default budget, I talked about that. Also, do you have any suggestion motions? Can I see it real quick? Okay. Hiring town administrator and rec coordinator. So me and Robin and you gentlemen know as well the amount of applications we got in for the town administrator. I don't think that we should be doing the first vet of these people. I think we should kick this to MRI, give them all of our applications forward and let them do it, because they'll do phone interviews and they'll narrow down this list. I don't think there's enough time for us to handle that, the amount in-house, do you know what I mean?
Totally agree with you. After going through the process 3 times, it's definitely, it'll definitely narrow it down and save us a lot of time.
Thing for finance, are they that doing the first round of that, or
So
we?
they already did do the first round, and the name that I got is the only one that made it out of the first round. The one person.
Because the other person didn't even get talked to yet.
No, not that. Not that one.
Alright.
The one that I already brought to the board,
Yes,
that's the one that made it through. The other one didn't go to MRI.
she did.
Oh, all right,
And
well,
they never responded.
we can talk about that. So that being said, that's my suggestion. So actually, I'll make the motion to contract with MRI to help us out in hiring the town administrator.
Second that.
Motion made by Dan, seconded by Joe. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 That's unanimous? Yeah, Mikey jumped off. All right, next up, the recreation coordinator.
I move to acknowledge the hiring of Recreation Coordinator Amanda Aiello as endorsed by the Recreation Commission.
Second.
Motion made by,
No, you should recuse yourself.
yeah, just abstain. I'll second it. Motion made by Joe, seconded by myself. All those in favor?
Aye.
I'm abstained.
Abstain, 1. Did you get that, Robin? I know we deviate sometimes and make sure that you're...
No, we're pretty clear.
Okay. All right, next up is, actually, I'm gonna skip that one for right now. Let's go to the permit for the Alzheimer Association ride.
Peddler's permit was submitted for approval for the ride, for the 29th ride to end Alzheimer's. The bike ride will take place Saturday, June 14th, 2025, and utilize Route 108, Maple Ave, Queensbury Road, and Bear Hill Road.
And this is something that's been going on for a few years now.
Yep.
That these people have set it up throughout the surrounding towns too, as of the fundraiser, as was stated for Alzheimer's. That's for a good cause, and we've always supported them.
So with that said, I move to approve Peddler's permit to allow the ride to end Alzheimer's to use the town roads on June 14th, 2025.
Second.
Motion made by Joe, seconded by Joe. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that's unanimous. Go ahead, do the consent agenda, and then I'll call Trish up.
So I move to approve the consent agenda as written. Payroll manifest for February 23 to March 8th, 2025, and the Veterans Tax Credit Tax Map 14-1-19.
Motion made by Joe, seconded by Bob. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that's unanimous. Trish, do you want to come up?
Yes,
I know I should have put you at the top, but I forgot.
that's okay. So just a couple of things. The update on the generator at the transfer station, I got that service today. It's annual service, so we should be good for that. The filters for our molecule air purifiers. So back on June 30th of 2023, in a selectmen's meeting, I did remind everybody that all departments should budget $100 a year for their filters. As we know, that didn't happen. I will get the filters. I have enough money in my grant money so that I'll get them, but I'll have to remind them when we start doing budgets. Everyone's got to do their own. The other thing, Conservation Earth Day is April 19th. Well, it's always April 22nd, but we're going to celebrate it on April 19th. We're going to be doing a nature walk at the Bush Farm, and a small gift will be given to everybody that participates. And lastly, as of today, the fence on the Merrimack side of the Peanut Trail was installed today. And that we're reminding people there are no motorized vehicles that should be on that side of the Peanut Trail. We'll be putting a Knox box so the fire department can get in there in case we have an emergency. But we're thrilled that this has happened. We've been wanting this a long time.
Trish, can I interject something? It came up the other day. Electric bikes are considered motorized vehicles as well.
That's right. So they're not allowed. I know they're going to be able to fit through the opening. We had to make the opening wide enough for a pedestrian and a horse. It's probably 4 inches too narrow for an ATV, unless it's a kid's ATV. But again, police will patrol, and if we get calls, we're going to have to pursue it. We do not allow any motorized vehicles on that end of the Peanut Trail. And I think that's probably all that I had.
Trish, for Earth Day, is there something from the state, if you wanted to get the whole trash bags and give them out and let people,
Yeah, we did that many years. Yeah, I went up to DES and I picked them up myself, and we gave them out at the transfer station. Mary Jo gave them out here. Diane gave them out here. And then, unfortunately, it was the Conservation Commission that went and picked them up because, again, we don't have enough road crew to do it. Okay. So we would pick them up, and it got to be, a lot of us don't have trucks, so it got to be a little tedious, so we stopped doing it. We certainly can, but one year what we did is I bought little water bottles, and we gave out the bags, and everybody, the first 100 people that brought into the transfer station their own Earth Day bag, we gave them a gift.
Oh, okay.
So we could do that again, certainly. We just can't, the road crew, as you know, is one person. We just can't do it.
Yep.
And the rest of us, I think out of all of us, only one has a truck, Joe.
I wonder if we reached out to the guy that does the trash pickups here, Steve, and asked him if he could work one Saturday or Sunday, whatever day.
Yep.
And just pick up all that, we'll pay him, or he can give us a price. And
right.
I wonder if we don't try to reach out to him to see if that's something he'd be willing to do.
Okay.
And then we could do that, and
We
you could
could.
leave him on the side of the road, and...
If somebody gives me his number, I'll call him. I don't have his number.
Well, I think we have it.
Okay.
It's on the, actually.
Let
it's
me
on
know.
the
Yeah,
town.
that's a great idea.
Yeah, because I'd be willing to talk about that.
Sure.
If he's willing, it's something that we could talk about as a board and go from there.
And we can put it on the website. I can do it on the conservation side. Robin can do it.
So yeah, we'll get you his number, and we'll let you
Okay.
reach out to him and see if we can make it work.
Sure. Sounds good.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Trish. Yeah, I haven't gotten to that yet. Discussion on zoning mandates. Is that you, Bob?
Yes, so I wanted to bring it up to the board. There's a lot going up in Concord, and because there's the big push to try to increase housing throughout the state, there's a lot of things that they're just throwing out there, and it's a basic cookie cutter type of format, which definitely doesn't fit every town. And some of them would be devastating to this town. So, let's see. One size fits all statewide zoning mandate, which, so House Bill 291 expands religious property tax exemption. That's one that, so if a religious group owns a piece of property, but they're only using part of it, right now, the part that they're using is tax exempt. However, they're saying that they're looking to make that whole property, so if they're only using 1 acre out of a 5-acre parcel, that they want to make the whole 5 acres exempt, not just the 1 acre that they're using. So that would cut into the town's budget. Then there was the carbon tax. That's primarily more towards upstate, but then they wanted to do things about allowing houses to be built with little to no parking for that, which is devastating for certain areas because it would make parking on the streets and everything else tough. And there was another one I'm trying to pull up here. If you give me 1 second here. All of a sudden I got inundated with all these extra emails. Here we go. There's also another one, and this one is really tough. So they're proposing to be able to allow towns to have residential buildings built in commercial zones. And anybody that knows anything about that, what would happen is once residential housing gets put into a commercial zoned area, those residents are going to end up at some point taking exception to what's going on with the businesses, and it's going to start a war about the zoning and what's to take place and what's not to take place and who's got what right and who doesn't. And it could lead to a lot of legal battles, ones that towns really don't need nor could probably afford. So that's another one that definitely should be shot down. Then there's the other one about the difference for Class 6 road mandates. There's quite a few of them. So what I'm proposing is that we as a board ask Robin, and I talked to her about putting up a letter to all our representatives telling them that we do not appreciate that these bills that are being proposed, what they're doing is they're undermining the capability of the select board, the planning board, the ZBA boards of not only our town, but all the other surrounding towns to be able to do what's right and proper for each individual town in order to develop housing properly so that it doesn't create all kinds of logistic and legal issues. So if you guys are all on board with that, and if you're not, then we could withhold your name from it, but I would like to send one with the town of Newton's letterhead to Concord. Like I said, telling all our representatives that all of this stuff needs to go by the wayside. Because it's literally like they're throwing something against the wall
See what
to see
sticks.
what will stick.
Sure.
I'm in favor of that.
I'm fine with it.
Okay. You have general consent to do that.
Thank you.
Next up, just so everybody knows, the four-way stop. I'm going to read this as it was emailed to me. Now, this is from DOT, so it does not read very well. Target completion dates for this project are as follows. May 1st, clearing and grubbing and construction of Maple Avenue temporary diversion number 1. October 31st, 2025, completed water quality treatment swale. October 31st, 2025, completed construction and implementation of Maple Avenue temporary diversion number 2. The contract completion date is September 25th, 2026. It is a 2-year project. I'm not going to go any deeper into that. Trish looks like she might want to, but I'll let her do it, just so everybody is aware of kind of like what the timeline is.
Right, and actually you said all the important timelines. Currently, right now, what they're starting, you probably are seeing the mark in the trees, is going to be the telephone poles are the first things that have to go. So there are some trees that are marked. What they indicated as recently as yesterday was those weren't going to be tackled first, but then again, it's the DOT. Who the heck knows? But that time frame is exactly what we were told, starting with the utility poles.
Okay.
When you get a chance, I have one more thing that I should have. Okay, so you'll remember, and as the interim town administrator, I did speak to Dan or email Dan. We were approved for that grant for the twin culverts over in Country Pond and Walder's Grove. We have to have, if you remember, we talked about this last year when we were inundated with budgets and it kind of put aside. But we have to have a full-time person that's authorized to sign the documents. Now, back then, I explained we didn't have a town administrator. Our only other full-time people are Katrina, and the police chief. So somebody has to be authorized to sign documents that's certified. Right now, I'm the only one certified, however, I'm not full-time. So what they're saying is, we have an upcoming training. It's 2 half-days. It's April 1st and April 2nd. If the town hires a new town administrator, or you want to send somebody to attend it, please register them. I wish you the best in the future. Wait a minute, let me flip over here. Whoever goes to the training, they're willing to take the training, they can sign the documents. Otherwise, if they decide they are not able to take the training, whoever you might want to send, you can change your status, ask the selectmen to change it to full-time and be responsible for signing the documents. Also, I recommend, as you are already LPA certified, if possible, changing your status to full-time would be convenient and smoothen the process. However, you may want to have Robin have another duty, or Katrina. Whoever, if we want anyone to go, though, they have to go April 1st and 2nd. It's 2 half-days. It's remote, so it's on a computer, and it will bring them up to snuff as to what we're doing. Mike and I talked about, Mike Pavero, the road agent, and I talked about this yesterday, because we have to give our final opinion as to if we're going to be moving forward on this. And his take is it's very important for us to keep going. They've already approved us. They did change the amount of money from $681,000 to, I want to say, $964. We are going to have to come up with money to match it. We do have some money in some of the grant accounts that I have, but Mike said, no matter what, we shouldn't let this go away, because he is going to have to do something there. Something has to be done. And at least this would be a grant money use. So I'm throwing that out there. You can discuss it, whatever, and just let me know if somebody should be registering, and I'll send you the link.
Trish,
Yes,
back to Rose Corner.
yes.
Is there any documents for the residents to see how the intersection is going to lay out? That they could, like, maybe we can give a link to have Robin put on the town website?
I'm
So that if
sure.
they have questions, they can click and see it for themselves?
I think Mike might have some.
Yeah, we have some big ones. I gave some to Mike. It was interesting. He didn't have any the last time we met. But I can get some from Natasha from DOT and shrink them down.
Yes.
And give them to
Maybe we'll put
Robin.
it on a town website, so when people
Sure.
have questions, they can go to it.
Go to the website and see
idea.
it, that's fine.
Also, the twin culvert,
Yes,
that needs to be done first before they're going to do the boat ramp?
it's 2 separate things.
But they didn't want to do the boat ramp until that was done, was that what I remember?
No, but you're kind of remembering it right. The grant that was gonna be for the boat ramp is with the Lake Association in Kingston. They're doing it in conjunction with us. This is a whole complete separate, the twin culvert is a completely separate thing. It's called the Local Public Agency
I remember
Grant.
that they were separate. I thought that
Yes.
the boat ramp people were waiting until
They'd love
after
it
the
to be
culvert.
done first, but
Yeah.
another thing, like Dan already said, it's DOT. Who the heck controls that? You never know. Pick it out of the air. Thank
Chris.
you.
Thanks, Trish.
I think we hired some, or we're going to hire some lifeguards, gentlemen?
Yeah.
I move to approve the hiring of lifeguard Ivy Charette at the rate of $20 per hour for the 2025 season.
Second.
Motion made by Joe, seconded by Joe. All those in favor? Aye.
And I move to hire lifeguard Amelia Grant at the rate of $19 per hour for the 2025 season.
Second.
Motion made by Joe, seconded by Joe. All those in favor? Aye. That's unanimous. Okay. Greenie Park user agreement. So we talked about the $1,000 security deposit. You guys talked to baseball about that, and that's all straightened out?
Yes.
So we left it here in the contract, but we did tell Matt and the baseball that we would waive it this year and see how it goes.
Okay.
But yeah, we did leave it there. We also changed the keys. There was a typo in there. The keys were supposed to be returned within 48 hours of the end of season, not each day.
Okay. How many keys are you going to give to baseball?
We're giving baseball one, softball one,
So
so they can overlap.
the problem with that is, because this was asked of me already, there's 10 teams. There's not one person that's going to every team practice and game. So they're gonna need 10 keys.
Well, Matt said, when Matt met with us, with the rec board, he said, because originally we were going to give out one key because we didn't want to have keys everywhere. And Matt asked if 2 keys, one for baseball, one for softball, and they would work out giving them to each other.
Okay,
We didn't
because,
care where they, as long as those 2 people return them at the end of the season, we don't really care who they give the keys out to.
okay, so we'll just follow up with that then? Because I know when I talked to Hunter, he was asking, he's like, I can't be at every practice. I'm like, I get that, obviously.
Right.
You
I mean, the other thing is if they wanted to, if they want to put their own lockbox there and leave, and the key in it, and be responsible for the damages if any happens with somebody else, they could certainly do that. But they do have one for softball, one for baseball.
Do they already have them?
No, because they haven't signed a user agreement.
Good point.
They need to
All right.
come to the rec board. That's one of the things, is they need to fill this out, bring it to the rec board.
All right, so, do you wanna, one of you reach out to Matt? There's a question.
So I have a question. Be cautious about letting them put their own lockbox on. We already had a problem with this. And when police and fire couldn't get in because we didn't have keys, they were the only ones, it was a huge issue.
So there's a Knox box on the building now, and I just gave the chief the key for it.
Okay.
So Captain DeCane was gonna go there, put the key in the Knox box, and DeFlumery has a key.
Okay, so the individual lockbox that they might put on, we still have access to?
Yes, that
Okay.
doesn't, we don't need to get.
Because that was a nightmare.
So here's the other thing, is I did a master key system and an operate, like, so users could get in.
Okay,
We as a town, we have a master key, we get into all the doors, all the gates.
okay,
That one key does everything.
Okay.
As a user, they can get into the concession stand, they can unlock the keys from the dumpster, but they can't get to like the utility room. Right, so we kept them out of there. And I also, it's an interchangeable core, so if the keys get lost, I pop the core out, put a new core in, new keys. Sure. The master key never changes, only
Okay.
the operator key. So if they lose the key, for $360, we charge them. I
Awesome.
change their key to a different one, and the master never changes.
all right, awesome, thank you.
No problem.
I think that is, actually,
Do we want to vote on that?
oh yeah, go ahead, I'll entertain a motion to accept it.
Motion to approve the,
I would like to,
Wait, we're still talking about the agreement.
oh, okay.
Yeah, no, we're not exiting. We have to go into non-public still and all that other stuff. Yeah, no. I'll accept a motion to accept.
so I'll make a motion to accept the new Greenie Park user agreement as written.
Second?
Motion made by Joe, seconded by Joe. All those in favor? Aye. That is unanimous. Now, you can say what you like, but I still need to go into non-public.
But I would just say, for the record, that Mr. Guy, this past year, his service as the chairman for the select board was exemplary, fulfilling the role of town administrator that we needed to fill, wearing both hats, the way he was able to pool everything together and keep this town functioning, and helping this board to be able to have this town conduct a business, pay the bills, and do everything that we needed to do in order to take care of the citizens of the town of Newton, New Hampshire. So with that, I would like to say thank you very much on behalf of myself, the select board, and the residents of the town.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, you guys are welcome. With
So,
that being
with that-
said, I did forget a couple of things. We did sign the contract with Giuseppe to do the water monitoring at that transfer station again. They're gonna get all of our permits and all that other stuff, so we'll be good there. we're waiting on a vendor to give us a quote on a gutter repair for above the library because it got damaged from the ice. Also, there's our own in-house maintenance guy is going to fix, there's a issue with snow and ice falling off the fire department roof and hitting the vent.
The fire department roof now?
Yeah, for the, it's sliding off and hitting the vent for the hanging heater that they have. So he's got to fix. It's not that expensive, so he's just gonna.
This in the
Yeah,
library.
exactly,
and-
yeah.
Yeah.
So, and also, don't let me forget about that. We need to
I
fix
know,
that
we gotta
this
get
year.
on that, I'll get on
Sometime this summer, we'll get that fixed.
Both buildings.
Yeah. The same, exactly, the same thing with the library, that wire, whatever you guys have to do. Now, with that being said,
That all being said, I move to enter into non-public session under RSA 91-A:3, C, reputation, and L, legal advice.
Second.
motion made by Joe, seconded by Joe. Bob?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. That is it. We are now in non-public.
Recording stopped.
Question.
Yeah.
These aren't the new ones we just bought.